Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Oh yeah. So you know what I was thinking? Like, do we never introduce ourselves?
That's true.
Can we just expect the audience to know? Like 3 episodes in.
We
I mean,
introduced
granted,
ourselves
it
in
was
the first
actually like
episode.
110 episodes in, but
Yeah, they don't really.
Yeah.
The true fans know we're what we're really doing here.
We
But,
reintroduced ourselves in the first episode. That's all we needed to do.
I don't even think we actually reintroduced ourselves in the first episode. I think we just started.
No, because I skipped Jeremy.
Yeah.
Like this. I just keep interrupting him.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. Yeah, we did though because we went around and
Okay.
Yeah, we just said our names and how we worked at retail together.
Yeah, because Jeremy had to, make that media pot smash plug.
Yeah.
Right.
He snuck that in there.
Well, because if you go with the Stan Lee theory that every issue is somebody's first issue,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't worry, we have lots of issues on this show.
So you're saying we should at least say our names?
Probably.
Okay.
So we'll go with I'm Nicholas.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Justin.
There we go.
Nice.
So at least we should start that way. I mean,
okay.
And then we'll
can
go from
I
there.
be Jeremy? Can I be Jeremy next week?
Sure.
Sweet.
Good luck. It's a huge undertaking.
It's probably easier than being me some days.
Yeah.
Eh,
Probably.
All right. So this one's going to be a hard one because I know the answer to the next question is from both of you a no.
Can I guess
Okay.
what the question is?
Yes, guess the question.
Did we watch WandaVision?
Yes. That is the question. You win.
All
Ding,
right.
ding, 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 ding.
I'm glad I won that part because guess what? I am gonna let you down for the second part. As you suspected, I did not.
Well, no. You're not letting me down. I totally expected that.
I'm good. I am going to meet your expectations.
Standards are low.
I thought
So-
that maybe the standards would have been a little risen just based on past experiences of this year. But
Well, because I'm going to guess, at least for you, Justin, you didn't watch it? That's what I thought.
I was
But
waiting.
you have Disney.
I'm waiting for the season finale, which was what, Friday?
Yes.
yeah.
So I planned on just sitting down and binging it.
So what happened between
Okay.
Friday and Sunday?
Christy was sick. Zoe was sick.
Oh, okay. That's actually a pretty
So
good.
I
excuse.
was dealing with that for the last 2 days. It sucked.
But Jeremy, you still don't even have Disney Plus, right?
No, I do not. Here's the
So-
thing. I was going to, but then all of a sudden, before you knew it, it was time to do the next episode, and well, here we are. But I was hoping that
Well-
Justin had at least seen it, and then I was going to say, well, why don't you guys just talk about it? And I don't care if you spoil it, but
Well, maybe
Well,
next week.
see, because I wasn't even going to talk about it in a way that would spoil it because it just happened 2 days ago.
mhm.
So, like, there's no way for us to really have a conversation about it without spoiling it for other people who might actually listen.
Yeah.
So, what I was going to talk about was an issue that was raised not in the show, but because of the show.
Okay.
And so this is a conversation that the three of us can have.
Okay.
I don't know where the two of you are going to. I think all three of us at the end of the day are going to end on the same side of the issue. But let's talk about fan reality versus fan fiction, fan
Perception.
fandom, fan. Because so I was reading that the season, possibly even more likely series finale of WandaVision, was the lowest rated episode of all 8 of them. Like come from the critics from the online stuff. And I think a lot of that has to do with like fandom and kind of like not necessarily with WandaVision, but with some other properties. The toxic nature of what is going on over there.
The damn thing just turned itself off. I don't know why. This happened last time too.
Aliens.
This is really becoming
Aliens.
It could be. Fuck it.
But see, their thing. So we can talk about it in terms of not just Star Wars. There's plenty of other fan avenues, but we can really key in on Star Wars since that's the one that I know that the 3 of us have, at least for the most part, all watched or have a good working knowledge of.
Mm-hmm.
So in between not Phantom Menace. Wow, Phantom Menace was a long time ago. In between Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, you had 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So in between The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, the fans, because of the internet. Now this existed before the internet, but because of the internet, I think it's worse. Had 2 years to write their own script of what they thought Last Jedi was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Rian Johnson had an entirely different idea. And because it wasn't what the fans had written, what they wanted to see,
mm-hmm.
they just trashed that film. And then they had another 2 or 3 years in between Last Jedi and Rise of the Skywalker to try to like rewrite it or get everything done. So when Rise of the Skywalker comes out, all of a sudden now Last Jedi was great. Oh, we love that movie. What was and now we hate Rise of the Skywalker because it again, J.J. Abrams didn't follow what the fans, because the fans now get to get online. They get to get on Twitter or Facebook or Reddit or wherever it is they go. And they get to, as a group, kind of write what they think they want to see. They get to kind of create their own universe. And that's great. That's great for fan culture. But at the same time, when we actually finally get the property, when it doesn't match it,
right,
we all freak out about.
You freak out, right?
And so I think with WandaVision, because now instead of binging it all, and that's where like I'm all turned around on the whole binging thing, because I used to really like binging, just sitting down and like I would have knocked all 8 episodes because each of them were like half hour, 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have knocked that thing all out in a day, 2 days at most, and been done with it. But I like the like we talked about it, I think last week with The Mandalorian, like having that week in between, like being able to talk about it and really digest the episode and kind of, talk about all the ins and outs and kind of like, oh, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, what do you think is going to happen? Like I thought that with WandaVision, like because it was such a unique concept, like you got a week to go, okay, what's happening? And when at the end of it, like it didn't match anything that anybody thought. Everybody kept saying, oh, this person's going to be the ultimate bad guy. And at the end of the day, that person wasn't even in the show because, they had fan casted everything.
What did you think about it?
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought also it did unfortunately do one because of the original schedule. Like we were supposed to have Black Widow in the Eternals last year, and I can't remember where Shang-Chi fit in. And Morbius was supposed to be last year.
Wow.
And then this May was supposed to be Doctor Strange 2.
Holy shit.
And we didn't get any of them.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say we didn't get anything. Okay,
that was because of COVID. We didn't get any of those 3 movies.
That sucks.
So now we're gonna get Black Widow maybe in May, Eternals will probably still. We haven't even seen a trailer for that one yet, but I guess it's probably in the can. That one will probably get in November. Morbius, who knows when we'll get that, but that one's also in the can. But they had to stop filming Shang-Chi, so that one we probably won't get until next year now. And then they just started filming Doctor Strange like recently when we should have been getting it in like 2 months.
Wow. That's too bad.
But because of how they filmed everything, we got WandaVision, and what should have happened was WandaVision, and then like a month or two, Doctor Strange. Because the end of WandaVision really strongly hinted at where Doctor Strange was what's gonna happen in that movie.
I see.
And I don't 100% know. Like, I mean, it might. I don't think it's gonna be like where you have to have seen WandaVision to appreciate Doctor Strange 2. But I do think it's gonna strongly help to have seen it.
Interesting.
I was talking about that at work recently with somebody who kind of enjoys the Marvel movies but doesn't get into them as much, and it was like, oh yeah, I just kind of pick and choose, and I was like, yeah, you can sit down and watch the Thor movies and really enjoy them without watching Captain America or the Avengers, and still enjoy the story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Where like you can just say, I don't want to see that one. I don't like that character. And still get the overall, and they do a really good job of kind of encapsulating it by itself, but also building it in. So like, there are little things that happen in every one of them that like, oh wait, what did that mean? Oh well, if you hadn't seen the other one, it didn't, you didn't know. But if you've seen it all, you're like, oh okay, this all makes sense. This fits here. This fits here. This, that's all. So, but that is. So Marvel does a really good job of that, where you don't have to see everything, but it helps.
Yeah, right.
And so I do, because with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they really, after like the first or second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they really got away from having to see any of the Marvel movies to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And when you watch the Marvel movies, you could have just been like, with that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist.
But they did do a lot of stuff in it that helped if you saw the movies.
Right, yeah. But after like the second season, they kind of even got away from that. So, especially later, like the fifth or sixth season, when they were like, 100 and 200 years in the future, when like they did a whole big time travel thing.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it was that season was crazy because like it was just but it was just kind of like, we no longer are part of that show. Like we are just over here doing our own thing. But
sweet.
Anyway, where I was going with that though is that because you had some time for WandaVision and you had kind of the build up, and then you had a week between every episode. After every episode, I would read countless numbers of articles of, well, clearly this character is really this so and so, and this character is really so and so, and I'm gonna ruin one thing for you because it was the first episode.
Okay.
At the end of the first episode, there was a guy who crawled out of a sewer wearing kind of like a beekeeper outfit. So everybody was like, "Oh, if you do this, like he's really, this character. It's probably like Deathstalker or who, I don't even remember. Grim Reaper. That's who.
Okay.
It's probably Grim Reaper, or maybe it's so and so." And I was like, "Well, it's a beekeeper, so that's probably AIM, because that's always the joke about AIM, is that they're beekeepers because of the AIM outfit."
Oh, okay.
And then, but then like 3 episodes later, they finally reveal who it was.
Yeah.
And it was kind of just a MacGuffin, basically. Like it was nothing.
Okay.
Like it was really just, and people were kind of mad about it, but they moved on because there was still more show, and they were like, oh, but everybody said, oh, so and so's this major character. I mean, they're gonna bring in this big Marvel baddie into this show, and this is how they're gonna introduce him. And it's like, but I do wonder, because like this show, really leaned. There was a whole episode about the snap, like, you know, and like what happened with the snap, like when people came back. And that was fascinating. Like, really, like, if you hadn't seen, like, this show more than any other Marvel show, if you hadn't seen Endgame and Infinity War, and even Age of Ultron, if you hadn't seen those, you would be lost. You can get away. I mean, you could get away with not seeing Captain Marvel, but there's definitely a large chunk of it that relies heavily on that movie as well.
Gotcha.
And so, you know, but you know, the fandom of like, oh well, this is what's going to happen, or this character's going to do this, or that character's going to do this, and then when that end of it happens and it isn't what you thought it was going to be, instead of going, wow, like that's even better, or oh maybe it's not as good, but you know, like wow, they did, you know, like this toxic culture of now I'm getting on Twitter and how dare you go fuck yourself because blah 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 blah,
Yeah.
you know, is really a problem.
Yeah. So there's a lot of outrage just based on the fact that it's not what they thought it was going to be.
Right. There's not as much outrage over WandaVision
Okay.
as there was Star Wars.
Right.
And I'm sure there are other, you know, fanboy properties that I can't think of off the top of my head. Maybe the two of you can, that, you know, where people are super attracted, or not attracted, attached to this one thing. And then, you know, because there's time in between the next episode or the next season or the next movie, and then they get it and you're just like, oh well, that's just disappointing. And not because it wasn't any good, because like I said, with Star Wars, it's very clear, like, you know, when Phantom Menace came out, it was years of this was the worst thing ever. But now that we're like 20 years out from Phantom Menace, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, well, Phantom Menace is actually pretty good. No, it wasn't. Stop it.
Yeah, what the fuck? Come on. It'll never be good.
But I mean, I can still enjoy it and appreciate it for what it was, and you know, I'm not mad that it's there because it built everything after that I really enjoy. But you know, like the Marvel movies, like now people are starting to go back and look at Age of Ultron, which everybody was like, oh my god, that was so terrible. And because of what WandaVision's done to it or with it, like people are like, oh, okay, well, it's actually pretty good. Like, you know, but it's like, but at the time, everybody trashed it because it wasn't what they expected. It wasn't what they had built from the Avengers and then all the other movies and then everything that people, because people, you know, the fandoms write their own stuff. Like there's all sorts of sites about fan fiction, but then you kind of write the story in your own head about what you think it's going to be. And that's great. Like that's where some super creative stuff came from. I mean, look at like George R. R. Martin. One of the first things he ever published was a fan letter in the back of Spider-Man or Fantastic Four or something. Like when he was just a kid, like he was one of the first people to ever go to a comic book convention. And he took his creativity and then instead of being a little whiny bitch that Spider-Man wasn't exactly what he wanted to be, created Game of Thrones. I mean, obviously nothing Marvel related, but you know, he had that creativity.
I was wondering where the connection for Game of Thrones and Spider-Man was. I was like, besides the guy likes to climb out to the towers.
Well, and I mean, in a much worse scenario, because both properties are just garbage. Look at Twilight and
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, 50
Is
Shades
that the
of
connection
Grey.
you're trying to make? Yeah, where it's
that's it. I'm glad you remembered what it was. But I mean, 50 Shades of Grey was originally fan fiction for Twilight, and so she just changed a few words and a few things in the scenario, and ended up writing a hugely successful, not at all related to Twilight series of books that some people really love.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, so there is a space where fan fiction should absolutely be encouraged. And like people should write that own stuff. Their fan films, to a certain extent, should absolutely be encouraged and pushed and talked about and you know, and until they start really and truly infringing on copyrights.
like Freddy versus Jason versus Ghostbusters, or one of the many other varieties on YouTube.
Right. I mean, there is a certain thing, like if you're just doing it for fun, like that's, I mean, it's hard to say don't do it.
Yeah.
Oh, my camera's all blocked up. But it's hard
Not
to
a
say
cat.
don't do it. It's hard to say don't do it because you want to see that creativity and I mean, yes, 50 Shades of Grey sucks balls. But
it sure does.
for every one of that, like that, I mean, more power to her for taking the time and the creativity to actually do it. And I mean, how many current writers in Marvel are writers for Marvel because when they were a kid, they loved reading Spider-Man or Captain America, and then when they grew up, they're like, I finally get to write Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, and two, if like you're a fan and it doesn't meet what you had written in your head, shouldn't it be kind of cool? Because it's like, oh, what a surprise! It wasn't what I thought it would be. Like the writers managed to do something different than what I had expected. So to me, I would think that's a good thing, not something to bitch about.
Well, and Justin, your big complaint about Force Awakens was that you said it was essentially just a remake of New Hope. I disagree with you, but that was your big complaint.
It was basically the same movie. It just seemed like it was gender swapped.
Right. I mean, we could sit here and spend the next 2 hours pointing out why it's not. But hey,
we can also do that why it is.
Oh.
But some of us have a bedtime.
1 hour for defending it, 1 hour for condemning it, and yeah, I'll pull up a pillow and you guys can explain it.
But so I mean, you could make the argument that like Force Awakens was too much of just a fan film. Like it was J.J. Abrams loves Star Wars, and here's Star Wars. This is, you want Star Wars, here's Star Wars. They took everything that was Star Wars and just kind of put a shiny new bow on it. And that is somewhat of a valid criticism of Force Awakens. I don't necessarily 100% subscribe to it, but I get it. Where Last Jedi, Rian Johnson said, I'm going to get away from that and I'm going to try to create something new. And then everybody went, oh my God, bah!
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't reason with an angry fanboy. I guess that's just their lesson.
So, and that's just where I was, that was where my head was today was, just wrestling with the idea of fan fiction versus fan reality of like, was the season finale of WandaVision. I mean, it was a good episode. Don't get me wrong. Like it was still really well made TV. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but that for me was a good thing because it was probably better than what this, not super creative head would have come up with. Like, like somebody who has a lot more creativity maybe came up, and sometimes the things that people came up with were better. And you're just like, why didn't you take that idea? That's way better than what you did.
Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of anything, but
sure. But I mean, I guess to let it ruin your whole experience, yeah, that's where it would be kind of like, well, come on, people, just get over it. And like you said, like make your own creative projects. Then, if you love to come up with your ideas so much, yeah, just do it yourself. Take a crack at it. I don't know. I feel like this happens a lot with casting. They'll announce a specific character for casting, and if it's not what people had in mind, or they don't envision it the way the studio envisioned it, then they're like, "Oh God, where's the nearest forum?" I mean, every time with Batman.
Yeah, literally almost every time with Batman. I mean, you go back. I mean, obviously, neither of you are old enough to remember it, but I do. I mean, I'm barely old enough to remember it, but going in to the comic book stores in, 1987, 1988, when I was just, 9, well, I was a bit of 10, 11 years old. hearing the people talk about, well, Michael Keaton can't be Batman. That's
Mhm.
Mr. Maul. And then, now people are like, Michael Keaton's probably the best Batman we've ever had. And I mean, I'm probably not going to agree with that statement. I mean, he is my Batman because that's the Batman that I've spent way more time with than any person probably should spend. Like I had that when I was a kid. I had that on VHS, and I'm surprised I didn't wear that tape out.
Yeah,
I watched it so.
Batman Returned is the first movie I ever seen in theaters, and I was at the drive-in.
That's cool.
I remember that. It was that and Cool World. It was a double feature.
Interesting.
Yeah, that Brad Pitt cartoon
Mhm.
live at whatever it was.
It was supposed to be like another Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it was those two at a double feature at the drive-in. It was the first movie I
How old
ever
were you
remember
when they
seeing.
took you to see Cool World?
What year did that come out? What year did Batman Returns come out?
Oh, it would have been like 90.
All right, let me hit up the Google here.
Okay. Because I feel like Cool World is not a movie you take a young child to see. Because wasn't the whole point of Cool World the one animated character wanted to have sex with the real person because then she would become real?
Yeah.
I don't remember
yes.
Cool World. But okay, it came
Yes.
out in 92.
Good year.
So I would have been 5 or 6, depending on the time.
Okay. So there's very little chance that you understood the plot of that movie, but at the same time, like that seems like a really odd choice of movie to take a 5 or 6-year-old to.
It really does explain a lot.
But I remember going to see Batman. That was like the first remembrance I have of going to the movie theater. It was the drive-in and seeing Batman, which I think is what started my Batman like fandom and all that stuff.
Let's see. What was the first movie you remember going to see, Jeremy?
Oh boy. One of the first, I mean, off the top of my head, I can think of is probably like Toy Story, maybe. Or I remember seeing the animated Pocahontas at a really tiny theater. I don't know whichever one came out earlier.
Oh man.
How old were you when Toy Story came out?
I was in college.
I'm trying to see
96?
95.
95, yeah. Probably one of the first ones I can remember was that.
Okay, so I was in high school then. I thought Toy Story was older than that, but
both of them were 95. Pocahontas and Toy Story was 95.
So either one of those, I mean, I'm sure there was something before that, but that's kind of what I can.
Does it say when in 95 Toy Story came out?
Yeah, I can get that for you. I'll work on it. Don't stare. Don't stare. Continue your conversation.
We'll cut this out.
November of 95.
Oh wow.
Yes, so I was a senior in high school.
Wow. Yeah, I was 4.
Wow. Jeez.
I would have been 8.
Oh man, you two make me feel so old sometimes.
Well, you're welcome.
I was about to say the first movie I remember seeing in theaters, and I'd have to Google it to look it up to see which one of them I saw first, just like you, would be either E.T. or Return of the Jedi.
Oh man. That's awesome though. Much better memories for first movies than I can recall.
E.T. was 82, Return of the Jedi is 83.
Okay, so I don't remember. I mean, I've seen E.T. since, so I remember it now. I don't remember. I remember seeing E.T. in the theaters because I seem to remember like making my parents take me to go see it like a second time. So in 82, man, I would have been like 4 or 5. Wow. So man, I must not have seen E.T. in the theaters. But me
and Jeremy weren't even alive.
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty crazy.
I've seen a lot of dumb stuff in theaters, though.
Oh yeah. I feel like that you and I have gone and seen a couple dumb movies.
Probably $5 Tuesdays or whatever.
Yes, $2 Tuesdays provided a really good excuse to go see a lot of schlock just because the price was right.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of those too at like the drive-in double features where it'd be one good movie and then the other one would just be some random one that was usually crap.
Yeah, I seem to recall Nicholas telling a story once. Didn't you see Green Lantern and Cars 2 at a double feature? I think he came up on one of the old podcasts once.
Yeah.
That's a
And
double feature right there.
I think it was the other way around.
Oh, okay.
Cars 2 was first, and then Green Lantern was second.
That's brutal.
And we stayed for both movies.
Oh god, I could just imagine like, well, Cars 2 sucked, but you know what? We get a fun superhero movie after it's done. It's gonna be okay. And then, oh my god,
Yeah.
how did this happen?
Yeah, it's oh man, it was. Oh yeah, that was one of those like, yeah, like oh man. I mean, I didn't really like Cars 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't really looking forward to Cars 2, and then Cars 2 was just, I mean, hands down, it's probably the worst Pixar movie. I've not seen Cars 3. I've heard it's better.
They made a third one. I
yeah,
didn't even
a couple years
know
back.
that. That's
I
crazy.
don't even think I've seen the second one.
Yeah, I never
It's
bothered.
well, it was like, hey, you know everything you loved about the first Cars movie, like car racing and lightning and like, you know, him finding himself and like, oh, forget all that. We're just going to focus on Mater, and we're going to make him an accidental spy. Car racing incidental.
Oh geez.
Oh,
Sounds
boy.
like
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, like they really misunderstood the whole like people loving Mater because he was like the fun side character.
Mhm.
Like, you know, he had the fun lines, and they're like, people want to see more Mater. Let's do the whole movie. And you're just like, that's no, he's good as a side character. He can't do the whole thing.
He can't carry that kind of weight on his own. I guess every once in a while Pixar they can get some misses.
Well, they had to get one wrong, right? I mean, they can't be perfect every time.
For sure, yeah.
That's probably one of those fan fictions. They're probably like, all right, we'll do a Mater movie.
Someone had a Cars blog talking all about Mater, and then Pixar stole it. They're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna use that.
Yeah, this is some good stuff.
See, that would have been one of the examples of like the people who wrote the fan fiction for Cars 2 were probably better than what they actually got for Cars 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. So
okay, I have been trying to come up with a way to transition to the next topic, and I cannot.
It's tough.
It is just,
I'm gonna just cut. I'll cut it to make it sound like it's tighter, and then we won't need a transition.
No, I was just waiting. I was waiting for like a reference to like just jump in and be like transition.
You should have just text something, and I would have snuck it in there.
Well,
I'll figure out a way.
I'm never for a natural.
I'm never sure if there's going to be more to what we talked about or not, so I like to give it a little bit of some. I like to let it
little extra rope.
Yeah, because I didn't know if there was more to the fandom
in there. Well, I was hoping there'd be a joke in there, so I could say, "Too old. Let's talk about The Simpsons."
Well, maybe we can. I'll do a voiceover of something that can go in front of that.
I do remember seeing the Simpsons movie in theaters, though.
Oh, wow. That was a long time ago and pretty old.
Did you see The Simpsons? Did you see recently or just this week, The Simpsons were renewed for seasons 33 and 34?
Oh, my God. That's insane.
Wow, that's nuts.
Because they're currently in season 32.
How long is that going to go on?
I don't know. I mean, at this point, like, fuck, it's going to take Groening to just go, I'm done. Like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, he's going to have to die.
Yeah, truly.
Or one of the main character voices is going to have to die or something. Because otherwise, I don't think Fox is ever going to cancel it. Why? I mean, And clearly the ratings must still be there.
I guess so.
Or otherwise they would be like, no, we're not going to keep this show. I mean, why would you keep a show on for 34 years if it was not making you money?
Yeah.
You know,
people just keep watching it to see what kind of future they're going to predict for us.
Mm-hmm.
People need to stop with that. Let me tell you something. Some of this stuff where they're just like,
yes.
Some of this stuff that they're like, they predicted the future. Okay, the Donald Trump thing, a little weird. When they were like, when they said Donald Trump is going to be the president, and then they had the picture of him like at the inauguration, and then Donald Trump's inauguration ended up looking very close to that.
Yeah.
But when they're like, they predicted the future because Lisa wore a dress and had a pearl necklace, and it was this color, and then Kamala Harris, when she got inaugurated and as vice president, was wearing a similar color and a necklace. It's like, it's not predicting the future. Come on.
Yeah.
But that's just coincidence. Like,
yeah, you could do that with so many other things. And it's just the sheer number of things that they put out. You're going to find a lot of similarities between that and reality. Yeah.
Right. Predicting the future is when they said Fox now owned by Disney.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
However many years before that happened. That's predicting the future.
Yeah.
Just them accidentally having something that kind of looked like something.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Although with the Donald Trump thing, and I have no idea if there's any way you could ever actually prove it. Part of me wonders if somebody on Donald Trump's staff that was in charge of decorations hadn't seen that episode of The Simpsons and went, why not? Let's do it. Let's make it happen.
That would be pretty fun.
Yeah, this will be funny. Let's freak everyone out.
Yeah.
Matt Going's probably on his team. All right, I'll set it up for you.
This will really get those internet nerds talking.
or Trump was watching The Simpsons and he was like, do you think I can be president? Yes. All right, let's do it. I'll run.
Oh.
It's just crazy enough to work.
Hey, these guys seem to think I can do it.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty funny. One of the other ones they said too, like they talk about technology a lot when they talk about The Simpsons predicting things. Like,
I'm waiting for the Futurama iPhone to come true. The Futurama iPhone where it goes actually in your eye.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for that one.
I'm sure that's coming.
What was the one in that Total Recall that you and I went and saw where like the keypad was like on your forearm? Was that?
Yeah,
Was
it popped up. Is that the one too where you could switch who was driving just by moving the steering wheel from side to side in the car? Was that in Total Recall?
That would be cool.
Well, who knows? It might have been in that one or Minority Report. That would
revolutionize driver's ed.
All right, your turn.
Wheel. Here you go. We're on the freeway. Take over.
About to get an accident. The wheel.
Yeah, wasn't me.
He was driving.
Get pulled over for DUI. Just toss the wheel over. Not me. Oh, well. So are we gonna say good on The Simpsons for lasting this long? Or
I am. I'm still watching it. I don't know if either of you are.
I have not been. No. They're still decent or what?
I mean, they're hit or miss.
Yeah.
I mean, there was obviously there was a time period with The Simpsons where every episode was knocking it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I do wonder, like if we went back and actually, because that's the whole thing now. People are like, oh, The Simpsons, it hasn't been good since season 20, whatever. But I'm sure in season 20, whatever, people are like, hasn't been good since season 5,
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think all those animated shows have those upswings and downswings. I know South Park for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This season's starting to get pretty good again, like the last couple. But there was a thing where it dipped down and it was like, this is the end of this.
Mm.
Well, there was that season of South Park that you guys talked me into watching with PC Principal.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good season.
Yeah, that was when they first started getting into the whole continuity thing with their seasons. They did some good shit in that.
Like the seasons before that too were kind of down. They were
yeah.
So it's like, nope. And then PC Principal went back on the rise.
But then after
Yeah.
that, they spent like a little too much time with the Integrity Farm shit, so it started to dip a little more. And then now it's kind of like, yeah, it's they got those. I haven't really been keeping up actually with the more recent stuff. I did watch the COVID special, and I'm looking forward to the vaccination special they've got coming out. That looks pretty funny. But
I might need to hunt that down and see what it is, just because I haven't watched South Park in forever. So
it's
probably
pretty.
since you told me to watch PC Principal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You should definitely recheck it out. I'm always interested to hear their perspective on things. I think those guys are pretty funny. They just always
They
have
have
kind of a unique idea.
they've had some really good episodes.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know what it'll take to kill the Simpsons. It'll just, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's a machine.
I mean,
It's a yellow
I with them changing all the voices now, though. I wonder if that would just be enough to make people go,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does. You would think that that could kind of be the thing to start the motion of its downfall, but that doesn't seem to really matter too much.
No. I mean, because in the past, when a cast member left or died,
Mm-hmm.
they wrote that character out.
Mm-hmm.
But like now, like, because like Hank Azaria has done so many voices, they just took, like, they didn't kill him. They didn't kill him off. They didn't take him off the show. They just took a couple of the characters away from him.
Right.
They didn't take, whoever was doing the voice of Carl away. They just gave it to another actor. They didn't take Dr. Hibbert away. They didn't kill Dr. Hibbert off. They just gave it to a guy who was already on the show doing other stuff.
Mm.
Like, he was already hanging out doing all these other voices as it was.
Yeah.
Now they're just like, Dr. Hibbert's going to be done by this guy instead of this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll have to go check it out sometime and see what they're up to. It is always nice to it's like one of those comfort shows. Like, really, no matter what the episode is, if it's on in the background, it's kind of just like, it's nice. It's nice to have on.
Well, they did, one of the last episodes they did was the lady who had done the voice for Krabappel.
Mm-hmm.
She passed away like 2 years ago. So they just kind of wrote her off the show, but kind of as like a tribute to her, like, because obviously they do the animation so far ahead of time. They finally caught up, and they did a whole episode where, like, Ned kind of dealt with the grief of losing Krabappel, and they kind of let Bart have some closure on the whole Krabappel thing.
Huh.
Where, like, they kind of just paid homage to her, like, having been on the show.
Yeah.
They didn't just write her off and never talk about her again. There was kind of like a whole episode that was like, this is our tribute to, and I unfortunately can't remember the lady who did the voice's name, but
Yeah, I don't remember her name either, but that's cool that they did that, because yeah, it would have been easy for them to just go
Ignore
forward.
it.
Right? Yeah.
Just move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would like to see a little more continuity in general out of that show. I think that would be a good key in keeping it fresh. Although they don't, I guess obviously they don't care because they can continue to get renewed anyways. But
that's what's so funny about that show, is that there is a fair amount of continuity until there isn't. Like,
okay, yeah.
Like they will have this running joke for years.
Yeah,
and then they'll just change it. Like, they've kind of changed the origin of Homer and Marge a number of times, but then it's I don't know, it's funny. Like, they just, like, because I mean, you're going on season, well, they're gonna have 34 seasons of Bart being in 5th grade, 4th grade.
Yeah, something like that.
Maggie's still a baby.
Yeah, Maggie's only said every time she talks, it's like her first word, and like she's had like 3 or 4 first words. Like,
right.
I guess the only thing I wish is that the Halloween episodes would go back to being good. They haven't been good in a while. Like some of them have, like there've been a couple skits here or there that have been good, but like overall, like the whole episode hasn't been like, man, that was because those Halloween episodes were some of the funniest ones they ever did.
Oh yeah, definitely. There were some gems on there. Only one that I can think of that really comes to mind at the moment is the one where Homer goes into all those different dimensions.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Is it one of the Trios horror when Homer hits Ned when he's a werewolf?
Probably.
And he's singing about how he forgot to put the fog lights in.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Oh, no beer and no TV make Homer go crazy.
Make Homer go something.
Go crazy? Don't mind if I
do.
Yeah. I remember the one too when they got Bart and Lisa got the special powers when they got X-rayed when they're X-raying candy. Stretch Dude and Clobber Girl. He's like, I must only use these powers to annoy.
I still quote, run like the wind, Bart, run like the wind. Mom, that's wind. I've only ever seen it written.
Oh, good old Sid. All right, well, good on him then. Yeah. Congratulations for getting
stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Stamp of approval. Yep. Pop Culture Roulette stamp of approval.
We'll add the sound effect in later.
One of these days.
Yeah.
Well, here, no, I'll save that for the douche of the week segment. I think.
Okay. I've got a douche too. 2 weeks in a row.
Wow. I got nothing.
What a shot.
For the 100 and something consecutive episode.
I'm surely you've had one at some point.
Yeah.
Probably.
I mean,
probably.
I mean, there were some episodes where we didn't have it at all because it wasn't a segment yet, but
I'm sure nothing comes to me, but I know you've come with one for sure.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, right in. Has Justin ever brought a douche?
Not for nothing, and this is an audio podcast, not a video podcast, but you guys notice that this one strand of my beard, like this staff, seems to be way grayer than this side of the.
Yeah. I get that. I get that with the underneath stuff, but I'm in dark, so you can't tell.
That's what this entertainment life does to you.
Milking your beard.
I did actually, and I don't know how long we want to go with this, but I did have. I mean, it's kind of vaguely pop culture related.
Okay.
In so much as that, like it's reported in the news and talked about and kind of made fun of. Zoom gone wrong.
Oh, I like this. That's Zoom a good headline.
Bad.
Okay.
Zoom gone bad. People leaving things out on the table that maybe shouldn't be left out on a table, or something happening in the background. And I mean, I thought of I remembered a couple stories that had happened. There's one recently I was reading about where a lady had her and her boyfriend liked to get a little kinky, and they had some handcuffs, some sort of cuffs out on the coffee table. She said because it was the quarantine and nobody came over, like they started getting a little bit more comfortable and doing stuff out in the living room. And then I guess she was on Zoom with her mom or the guy's mom, and her mom was like, "Hey, what are those cuffs on the table? Never mind, I don't want to know."
Oh no!
No, Grandma, no.
Yeah. I remember the news was showing one where this lady had a gigantic dildo on her bookshelf.
I saw that one actually. I remember that one. Yeah. That one was like very it was subtle. It was like if you weren't looking for it, you probably wouldn't have noticed. It was like on a bookshelf.
It was a bookend.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's just my bookends.
Right. It was, and she genuinely probably forgot it was up there because it was a joke or something, and then people were like, "What is that?" Like, I remember I read about one where a lady had put her daughter on the Zoom call for class, and put her in a room, and then was like, okay, she's going to be on that for however long. I'm going to go get ready for whatever, so I'm going to go take a shower. So she went and took a shower, and then the daughter, not really understanding how Zoom works, picked up the laptop and went into the bedroom and had completely set up. So the lady comes, walks out of Zoom. So here she is. I think she was like second or third grade. So she walks out of the bathroom thinking that she's in her bedroom completely alone, and ends up being full frontal on Zoom in front of a class full of third graders.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
The unintended consequences of the new world.
Sleep over at Miss Johnson's house.
Yeah.
But I say, like, all I could think then was she better be glad that it was third grade and not like 10th grade. Because then every 10th grader would have been screenshot.
Yeah. Uploading it to some weird forum somewhere. It is crazy. The things are there compilations online of these things?
Probably. I kind of quickly looked to see if there was a list, and it was all just like quick little like blurb stories of one time I was on a work call in my, but like, there was that one that was, everybody was like, oh, he was such a good, like kids walk into the room when the dad's on a Zoom conference, but then, there's where Zoom goes really wrong. And there was that newspaper reporter who was on the conference call, thought they were on a break.
Yeah.
And didn't realize he didn't mute himself or pause himself, and proceeded to, pleasure himself.
That's no good.
I mean, how do you know? He could have thought it was good.
Yeah.
He
thought
right there on camera in front of everybody.
Now he makes a lot of money on OnlyFans now.
No.
He doesn't.
Everyone is closer for that moment.
He's not making a lot more money now than he was because he got fired. Right?
Well, that's too bad. I remember hearing about a school board that was trashing parents because they thought the mics were muted, and they were not.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Now that whole school board's out of a job too.
Yeah. Was that in Georgia?
No, that was California. I think it was in Oakland. Yeah, that was they. They were saying some pretty. They were saying some pretty bad stuff.
Yeah, they were. I don't know why how people like really don't make sure of these things before. I know it's easy to get laxed on things, but I mean, come on. You really need to like check your shit.
Yeah. That's that's the thing. Like, if I'm about to tell something that, like, to say a story that I either shouldn't tell or tell a joke that I shouldn't tell, I look around the room, make sure it's just me and that one person.
Yeah.
I have a problem with doing that. I just say it.
No shame.
Yeah, I'll say things. I say things and people are like, other people can hear you. And I was like, I don't care. Just so you guys are aware when they come for canceling this podcast. It's probably going to be me or Jeremy saying something stupid.
Yeah, well, which actually leads me to one of the first things I wrote down. Great
transition.
So I was wondering if I should apologize for my Mr. Terrific comment.
Never apologize.
No? Okay. All right. Fuck it then. I will not apologize for laughing at his leather coat and calling him gay because of it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if he is in the comic, but in the show, he was a gay character. I don't know if it was because of his leather coat. But...
Well, no, but that's what I had assumed because I saw it. I'm like, oh, and I made the joke that maybe he's gay because of that. But obviously, I've grown a lot since last week, and I deciding whether or not to apologize. And Justin's saying no. My producer's telling me maybe I should, but I'm just going to stick to my guns and say fuck it. I'm doubling down, actually.
Ask Nicholas. Let's take a vote. Podcast vote.
Yeah, Nicholas, should I apologize?
Well, I don't really remember what you said, so I don't know if there's anything to apologize.
Okay, so I will not apologize this week. Great.
We have a producer.
Well, don't worry about
it. What is it called? Theater of the Mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, when did we get a producer?
It's just let's just keep the illusion up.
Because they are not doing their job. You got a producer.
Yeah, maybe we'll be
She's
getting
got
a
a
new
lot
producer
of,
next week.
Things going on. He's
I wouldn't
juggling a lot of balls,
mind.
if you know what I mean.
Huh?
What?
What'd you say?
I said he's juggling a lot of balls, if you know what I mean.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, next I think we should get a new one. So back to the Zoom thing, since I did have an idea on that. How long before they make a Zoom horror movie? Since we're so into this age of Zoom.
Be the first.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it'd be like that Unfriended kind of thing. I guess they kind of did that a little bit, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I felt like they did, but I mean,
but was that Zoom or was it more like FaceTime or Facebook?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either, but
Me neither.
fuck it.
All right.
You know what? I mean, if it hasn't already been done, we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know, I think
It's coming.
you know, in the next couple of years, we're gonna get a bunch of, you know, quarantine comedy or quarantine horror movies. There's gonna be, you know, pandemic movies coming out here pretty soon. You know, I mean, NBC or ABC already tried making that quarantine sitcom where all the actors were at their own homes, like just, you know, I don't remember.
That sounds terrible already.
Yeah, I was gonna say
it got canceled pretty quick.
Well, I've written some stuff while in quarantine and while during the pandemic, but it doesn't have any pandemic themes to it. So
none of mine does either.
How about you, Nicholas?
Have you written anything?
I've just been playing a lot. I've just been playing a lot more video games.
Yeah.
Have either of you played Red Dead 2?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Hell yeah.
Worth
it's
it?
Awesome. Definitely. Yeah.
I think that's gonna be the first game I play on the new system.
Sweet. Yeah, you should. I highly recommend it. It's a fun game. The detail of that world is insane.
I didn't really like the first one all that much, so I didn't bother with the second one.
Well, the second one's a lot more polished. I'll say that.
Someone was telling me in the second one you can like sit there and watch a guy build a building. You could just sit there the whole time and watch them like construct a building. It's that like in depth.
Well, I think I know the part that they're referring to, and if that's the case that you can sit there and watch it being built, I think that's pretty cool. I haven't done that myself, but
you probably got
that's
other
awesome.
Stuff
Yeah, I mean, time is always running so short on everything. It's kind of tough to sit there watching a virtual building getting built, but it's nice to know you can.
But I think that's going to be the first one I play on the new one.
Cool. Yeah, I recommend. Right on. That's a good call. What about douche of the week?
Douche of the week. I have it, and it's kind of stepping into Justin's territory a little bit.
Ooh.
Is it one of these guys?
No, it's not one of those guys. It is sports related, but as we know, sports and pop culture sometimes are hand in hand. I mean, they go together. And I mean, Dan Snyder is basically like douche of the week, like king. like you know, like I mean, there's like a whole room of the douchebag Hall of Fame dedicated to just Dan Snyder. I mean, as the owner of the Washington football team, he has decided that they are no longer going to have cheerleaders. They are going to have a co-ed dance team.
Oh no! Why is that?
I didn't bother reading why. I know the reason why. Because with all of the sexual assault claims and sexual harassment claims against the Redskins, I'm sure they're trying
football team.
Oh, you're right. The Washington.
Yeah, how dare you?
Team.
The team from Washington.
Go back and edit that out, Jeremy. Just make sure I don't get caught saying that.
Right.
He'll have to apologize next week.
It's too late. Zoom already heard you. They're coming for you right now.
The Washington footballs I'm sure it has something to do with that. I bet it has something to do with a lawsuit the cheerleaders brought against the Redskins a year or two ago.
Washington football team.
Like 2
Ah,
Man.
God damn it.
40 years of calling them that. It's hard to reprogram yourself. Like just even and the big thing about that is I actually agree with the people that they should have changed their name because that name is offensive and is terrible. And they shouldn't be called that. I don't know why I keep saying it though.
It's just a great. I sportscasters still do it all the time too. I've noticed. So you're not alone.
But so I'm sure it has something to do with that lawsuit and just a lot of the other bad things that have been happening with the football team since they were, because I mean that was one of the reasons they finally agreed to change their name off of the offensive word that it's there.
Yeah.
So much is that they were trying to take the heat off of a lot of the other stuff that they were doing.
So did Snyder actually have allegations against him personally?
I don't know, Justin.
I don't think he's had any against like naming him.
Okay.
It's
okay.
always about the organization, the team. I don't think anything has been specifically linked.
Gotcha.
Like maybe it'll be like he knew it was going on, but I
Mm.
don't think he's ever been the accused.
So
To
with
my
this
knowledge.
move, he's basically saying like, when an organization that's unfriendly towards other people do this, and then they got
Yeah.
co-ed dancers. So,
I'm gonna get ahead of the curve and be like, we're no longer cheerleaders.
yeah.
Remember the other stuff I did? Yeah, don't worry about that. Look at this.
Yeah.
Look at this shiny new toy.
So are any of us gonna try out for this co-ed team?
I mean, wouldn't you want to see this
Oh, I
on
definitely.
co-ed dance team?
Is it gonna be like a virtual dance team? So I can just
I think that we have a legitimate chance. Well, I mean, that is douchey. The Redskins.
Hey.
The Washington football team as a whole, I think, could be considered the douche. But Snyder himself, yes, very douchey.
He just needs to sell that team. That'd probably be the best thing for that organization.
Are they pressuring him to try to basically get? No,
they're not trying to boot him out.
No. Interesting.
They probably are.
Yeah, but it's not like who is the owner of the Clippers? It's not like with him.
Sterling.
Yeah, where everybody's just like, oh, he's got to get rid of it.
Yeah. Hey, since we're talking about sports, I mean, this is completely unrelated, but I never got to get your take on James Harden requesting that trade. What do you think of that?
Would you like to go first?
Is he a douche? Because I actually have been following this.
I'm of a couple different minds on that one. I mean, part of it's like players do need to kind of have a little bit more control of their own destiny. But at the same time, like, dude, you signed that contract. Like, nobody held a gun to your head and said, sign this contract. And like, if you don't want to be there anymore, that's
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, you can do
but I mean, like
the same way in the NFL too, with like the whole Deshaun Watson stuff. Like he signed that extension 2 years ago, and the Texans were bad 2 years ago. Like you knew what you were getting into, and don't be like, oh, I want out now. It's like, well, should have thought of that before you took all that money.
Yeah,
you knew the team wasn't going to be good.
It honestly makes me lose a little respect for you. I mean, it's just like.
I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it with Deshaun Watson because when he signed that extension, they had a lot more than what they had or what they have
that's
now.
True. That's true.
I mean, 2 or 3 years ago, well, when the Super Bowl was in Houston 3 or 4 years ago, a lot of people were saying that they were going to be the first team to be in the Super Bowl in their home stadium. And then they ended up just being awful that year. But, Deshaun Watson, I mean, I get it. Like looking at it from a perspective of like I want to be productive and I want to be, want to be on a team that's going to win. And then you're doing me dirty by getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins and this guy and that guy. And then you're going to sit here and publicly say, "Oh, well, we care what he has to say when it comes to like our GM search," and then not listen to him at all.
Oh, yeah, when they were looking for the new head coach.
Yeah, same thing with the head coach or whatever, and then not involve the guy. Now, I know that a lot of people on the sports TV want to say, "Oh, well, they should absolutely talk to Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Deshaun Watson." Man, it's not the player's responsibility or the player's call on who they hire as the coach. I mean, it would be nice
if it goes wrong. It's not the player who's going to get yelled at. It's going to be the ownership, the general management, the coach. Right. They're going to be the ones thrown under the bus. They can't be like, well, it was Watson's fault.
Right. And they have to live with that a lot longer than the player.
Yeah, they'll be like, well, don't listen to your player then. Hire the guy you think is the best fit.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I get like if Rodgers is just like, I'm not going to play for that guy. If you hire him, I'll just retire. Asking his opinion, but at the end of the day, it's not his call. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. So, like the play, I think ESPN wants players to have. It's like the players in the NBA have too much power.
There's Cat.
Yeah. Like James Harden has too much power. What's his name? LeBron has way too much power.
Wow.
Like, I mean, you're still an employee.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, you are an employee of the NBA. You are an employee of the Los Angeles Lakers. If you don't like what they're doing, I don't like everything that my company does. And if it got bad enough, I would go find employment somewhere else.
Right.
But, I'm comfortable enough with everything that happens there that I continue to go get a job. Now, those guys are making money that's astronomical, where if LeBron didn't like something that the Lakers were doing, he could just be like, I'm just done with basketball altogether. I'm walking away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But plus, I think now there's better ways to go about it. Like them just going right to social media and everything. Like, go talk to, like he could have talked to everybody before he started saying what he did. We don't know.
And with James Harden, did that dude put on a fat suit?
No, it sure seemed like it.
He just got.
Come on,
he doesn't. He doesn't have to play defense, he refuses to play defense. I don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
All he does is dribble and shoot 15 to 23 pointers.
Yeah, but I'm saying, look at the picture of that man when he was in a Houston Rockets jersey, and then look at him when he's in a Nets jersey like a week later.
He must.
I don't know what.
He probably got on keto.
He has.
I mean, it's warm in Houston. It's cold in New Jersey. He's probably putting on some winter weight. He's like, I'm gonna be cold.
Yeah, he was eating hearty.
But it was the other way around.
Well,
in Houston, he was like when he showed up and would put on the Houston jersey before he was able to force that trade. Dude looked like he had put on 30, 40 pounds.
He did, yeah. He must have, he did see, yeah.
And then when he showed up in Brooklyn and looked good again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what kind of weight loss program that is, but I want to get a hold of it.
Some P90X maybe mixed with just no carbs, no sugars.
In a week?
Hey, you can accomplish a lot in a week if you
set
your mind to it. Yeah, TB12, baby. Eat your TB12 approved snacks, get your electrolytes in, and you can accomplish great things.
In a week?
Drink crazy amounts of water.
Okay, a week's a lot. I mean, not very much time, but I mean, let's see. Realistically, how much do you think he dropped? 30, 40 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's a lot. Yeah, I don't know, man. James Harden must have been pulling like a Mrs. Doubtfire. He must have had a fat suit on. Or CGI.
I don't know. I think, there needs to be some sort of happy medium between like the overpowered superstar nature of the NBA and like the complete authoritarian lockdown that Major League Baseball is.
Hey, that's coming back soon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't. Oh, spring training. I've been watching highlights. It's just I can't. I love. And we actually get to go to games. They made that announcement.
Yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
like 20%, 25%.
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's like 5,000 people or something like that. I don't know.
Right on.
It's going to be hard to get tickets this year.
Yeah, how
but
much?
At least
How much are they going to raise the prices of tickets?
Well, hopefully they don't raise them at all.
Yeah.
Less people, more expensive tickets.
But well, then maybe I won't be going.
I've got 2 vouchers. Do you think they're valid still?
I don't know.
Sorry, sir.
You might have to make an email or a phone call on that one.
I'll have to look into that one. I could, because if they do work, I can resell those on the black market, or just go to a game. I haven't decided.
Go to a game. I still want to go see. What is it?
Or you could just give them to a podcast partner of yours,
or that
loves baseball.
That's true. We'll see how it goes. If you're good.
Yeah, I still want to go to one of the Milkmen games if those are available yet.
I went last year. It was fun.
Yeah, you took your dog.
Yeah, we took Jovi.
I remember seeing that.
And we're gonna try again this year now that we have 2 dogs because we're crazy.
I wouldn't take my dog. My dog's nuts. She's not allowed in public.
I can totally identify with that. I'm not really allowed in a lot of places either, so I mean, your dog and I feel that. I have a douche. By the way. If we're done with the whole James Harden thing.
Is that your douche?
No, that's not my douche. But he could be a douche, depending on what camp you fall in. My douche is Paramount Plus. Because they went against the wishes of the late Steven Hillenburg. And they're going to be doing 2 SpongeBob spinoff shows. 2. First one is the Camp Coral show, which is like the prequel to SpongeBob with like the 3D CGI version of them. And then they just announced that they're going to be doing a Patrick Star spinoff show. So, and Steven Hillenburg, the creator, had always made it clear that he never wanted any spinoffs. And after he died, they said, "Fuck you. We're moving forward, and we're getting 2 of them on Paramount Plus."
What's he gonna do now? He's dead.
Yeah. So they're shitting on his grave.
Okay.
Okay. That's it.
That's it.
That's all you got for me.
Awkward silence followed by okay.
So I guess yours is a little more douchey. Than a whole streaming service, but
here's the thing.
Yeah.
And this is gonna sound crass.
Okay.
But I don't fucking care. I really don't.
Wow. Because a business is gonna just do what they do.
That's a lot of it.
Yeah. I mean,
admittedly, he didn't watch SpongeBob either because he's old.
That's true. It doesn't hit close to home like it does for me.
Right. I've never really watched SpongeBob.
Fair. To be fair again, though, I mean, there wasn't a lot of douchey things that happened this week. That was sort of the bottom. Who actually brought one, at least?
I brought one.
I know. I'm not saying
you're on my screen. You're down there.
No, I was say, because on my screen, you're down there.
You're down there.
You're down
Jeremy's over there, and I'm over here.
Well, I mean, I just said Justa did, so at least I brought one.
Yeah,
I should get points at least for breaking.
Until right now, I didn't know that he didn't want a spinoff.
Yeah,
I had never heard that before.
Yeah, he said that at some point in his life.
So, I understand. All right, so like I get where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I also get where they're coming from. Of like, why would we let this incredibly popular property that we can make millions off of sit here dormant because one guy didn't want us to do it?
Not just one guy, the creator, the father of the whole series.
A lot of companies are like that too, though.
I know. It is a hard truth.
Like a place I work for, the person who started it, I don't think would like how it's all about the money now.
That's true.
No, he would hate it.
That's true.
Yeah, Sam Walton would hate where Walmart is right now.
That's very true.
So, I mean, I'm of two minds. One, I definitely understand both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is my baby. I don't want it to be anywhere without me. Because, I'm sure part of it's like he's afraid of what they're going to do to it.
Yeah.
And that he doesn't want them to, bastardize his creation.
Yeah.
But I get where they're coming from of like,
money.
You know how much money we could make off of this?
Money.
Well, and seeing as how he's dead, I guess it doesn't matter then what he thinks of it, really.
Right.
So.
Well, it's kind of like the Calvin and Hobbes thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as long as Bill Waterston is alive, we're never going to get a Calvin and Hobbes like cartoon or Calvin and Hobbes merchandise. But I bet you dollars to donuts when he passes away, unless the family that he leaves behind follows his wishes 100%, we are going to see a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon series within like a year of him dying. And
probably already one written, just somewhere in the vault, just waiting.
We are going to see Calvin and Hobbes merchandise hit the shelves like quick, because I mean, I don't know how popular Calvin and Hobbes is now compared to when that was running as a comic strip, but that is one of my all-time favorite comic strips. I mean, I love that comic strip, and it would have been awesome to have a Calvin and Hobbes cartoon or movie or be able to have a stuffed Hobbes tiger.
Who would you cast in a Calvin and Hobbes movie? For the
I would probably do it
animated. Have to be animated.
I would probably do it animated just so you could do some of that, like the snowman stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it would be more natural. I mean, because if you did live action, it would have to be like a Dennis the Menace style, and it would just get weird,
Yeah.
But I mean, it would be partially.
Another movie I saw, The Drive-In.
I mean, it would probably be like a partial animated movie anyway, because you would have, when he was in a room with an adult, Hobbes would be just a stuffed tiger carrying around.
Right.
And then the second the adult left the room, Hobbes would be a, walking, talking, creature. Same thing with the snowman. I don't know. I mean, I guess you could do a live action. I think an animated would be better.
Yeah. Yeah. Who would you cast as the voices? Do you have an ideal choice for that? I don't think I can really think of any, to be honest with you. Maybe like John C. Reilly as Hobbes.
Oh, that would be a good one. For some reason, I was thinking Will Ferrell as the voice.
Oh, yeah.
of Hobbes,
yeah.
But I was now that you say John C. Reilly, I think I like that better.
I just went to Bruce Campbell for some reason.
Okay.
I have no idea why.
I know you have an affinity for Bruce Campbell.
Well, who doesn't really?
That's true. I mean, yeah.
I think they need to do an Uncharted movie with Bruce Campbell.
I agree. That'd be cool. That'd be a great choice.
Who is going to be in the Uncharted movie?
It should be James Roday and Bruce Campbell.
It's going to be Tom Holland and I don't remember who else, but I think Tom Holland's going to be the lead.
I always like James Roday and Bruce Campbell as that's who I would cast in an Uncharted movie.
Who's James Roday?
The lead in Psych.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think he would have been a good Nathan Drake.
Okay, so according to IMDb, it's going to be Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, Mark Wahlberg as Victor Sullivan, Sophia Ali as Chloe Fraser,
okay,
and Tati Gabrielle as Braddock.
I don't know about Mark Wahlberg as Sully.
No, I don't like that.
Antonio Banderas.
Oh yeah,
unlisted.
Yes, Antonio. Yes, unlisted. Who?
Sully needs to be an older kind of grouchy guy.
Yeah, like
I don't
Bruce
see that as
Campbell
Mark
is
Wahlberg.
actually kind of perfect for that. I think they need to go back and try again.
Yeah. All right, fan fiction. Let's write this.
Yeah, I'm fucking outraged.
This is who we cast.
Okay. Well, just to I guess that brings us back to circle it back around.
Yes.
Bring it back around. Bring us
Yes.
back to where we started
Yes.
from.
It is like a circle.
We did.
Yeah. Fan fiction had casted. I mean, I've never played Uncharted because I don't own a PlayStation, but I know fan people had casted Nathan Fillion as Drake a lot.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that around. Yep.
I know you've been saying the guy from Psych for a long time.
James Roday.
But you know, and I guess I've heard Bruce Campbell as whatever the older guy is for a long time.
Probably from me.
From you, but I've heard that from other people
Go
too.
back to the old podcast.
He's been beating that drum for years.
Yeah, I think at least since the third game came out. Around there.
So
I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But yet you're getting Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. No, I don't have anything against those guys, but I just don't think they're the fit.
Tom Holland was, I don't know how old he was when we started this podcast, but he wasn't an actor or anybody because that kid is young. Yeah. I mean, he was the first actual teenager that they hired as Spider-Man to be Spider-Man. Normally they had been 20. He was born in 96.
Oh my God. He's a baby.
He was born after I graduated high school.
That's insane.
Wow.
Not by much, but it's right around there. Like I graduated high school.
You
like
can almost be his father.
I mean, I guess technically.
Technically, yeah. If you
mathematically, but I've never been to England, so.
Righto. That's amazing. I disagree. I don't picture him as Nathan Drake at all. They're gonna really have to convince me with a kick-ass trailer.
Or Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that one. I mean, a little bit better, but no.
But I'll tell you what, Tom Holland might be the best Spider-Man we've ever had.
Yeah, I'll give him that for sure. That was fun. He's
I liked Andrew Garfield too.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Andrew Garfield did okay.
I thought they were both better than Tobey Maguire.
Come on now. I was going to say Andrew Garfield is the worst Spider-Man by virtue of the fact that there's only been 3. You know.
So you would do Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and then Andrew Garfield? Wow.
Absolutely.
I would do Tom, Andrew, and then Tobey.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough one. Like some of the Tobey Maguire stuff's kind of rough.
Yeah, especially that third one.
Yeah, the third one. But I mean,
it's all of the third one.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man 1 and 2 with Tobey Maguire. True. Come on, that second Spider-Man movie is still one of the best comic book movies ever made. I mean, it is a damn near perfect movie.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You can't say that about either Andrew Garfield movies.
Yeah. All right, you got me. Same ranking as you did.
Thanks, Jeremy.
There's funny though, something about Tobey Maguire. There's a YouTube channel out there where this guy inserts some of the really bad acting moments of Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 into other movies from the Marvel universe. It's good stuff. I forget what it's called. I wish I should pimp it right now, but I don't know the name. I think it's just like Tobey Maguire inserted in MCU. Maybe if you just search that, you'll find it. But I highly recommend it if you're looking for a good laugh. So yeah.
What did you guys think of the Spider-Man name, the title? Not controversy, but fun. Because nobody was really mad about it that happened. Did you see any of that, Justin?
I do, but I can't remember what it was called.
Well, there was
like Far From Home no, that was the second one.
Yeah, that was the second one. Let me pull it back up here just so I get it right. There was Tom Holland announced it was Spider-Man Phone Home. Zendaya announced it was Spider-Man Home Slice. And then the guy, and I forget the actor's name. I apologize to him. The guy who was Spider-Man's best friend,
Hmm.
Ned.
Mhm.
I can't remember his real. He said it was Spider-Man Homewrecker, and then everybody was like, running around online going, "Wait, each of these," and it was, Marvel was having fun, and they told each of those actors for like a day or two to just be like, "No, this is the Spider-Man title," and then even going as far as to like have fake title screens like mocked up, and they gave them to them, and then they did a whole like video where they were coming out of the director's office going, "Oh man." And then they announced the real title is Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. That was a clever little build up they had there.
Yeah, just having fun with people,
Yeah.
Just everybody was like, "Oh, this is what it's going to be called," and just kind of, you know, saying, "Hey, guys, calm down." Like, but at that, what, Spider-Man 3, unfortunately, because of the quarantine, might be one of those movies that everybody gets really let down about because the first two Spider-Man movies were real good, Homecoming and Far From Home. The third one is inevitably kind of a letdown anyway, as history has told us with everything but Thor, well, and Captain America. But
True.
so basically anything Marvel.
Yeah, so maybe it'll be okay.
Um, but I mean, there's been all sorts of casting rumors about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx is coming back. Jonason or JJ Jameson,
J. Jonah
whatever that guy's
Jameson.
name is. J. Jonah Jameson. He's already back.
Yeah.
They've been crossing streams with the past Spider-Man movies already. So
Did I
they're
hear that Daredevil's gonna be in it too? Or I just
possibly.
Is it going to be the
Um,
same actor that's on the Netflix series?
that's what I've heard. But now I'm hearing like, hey guys, let's calm down with the you know the Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. It might not actually be happening.
Hmm.
So who knows? And I think a lot of it also, again, because Doctor Strange didn't come out when it was supposed to. I don't know if they're changing things
Oh,
because we're
okay.
supposed to be getting Spider-Man this year, where we were supposed to get it after Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is called Mul-
Multiverse of
multiverse
Madness.
multiverse of madness or something like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like that was supposed to be the movie that really truly introduced the multiverse.
Mm.
Um, and they definitely really, watch WandaVision.
Okay. By
Um,
next week I will. I
You're gonna,
promise.
you're gonna have Disney Plus by next week.
Yeah.
All right,
Honestly. I
better
will let
just come over here.
or
um,
that.
Yeah, we can cuddle.
All right, deal.
um, not every episode has an after credits scene. Some do.
Okay. Good to
So,
know. I'll keep that in mind.
you know,
Cool.
um, but or mid credit scene.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But that's um, yeah, no. So I don't know how. I mean, because they kind of introduced. Well, I thought they kind of introduced the idea of the multiverse in Far From Home, but obviously that ended up being kind of a ruse.
Yeah.
But they toyed with the idea.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, the multiverse is obviously a big thing in the Marvel universe. So, it's coming. I just don't know how they're going to deal with it and when they're going to deal with it. So
Yeah.
I'm guessing they probably had to, because of the pandemic. I think they had to rewrite parts of Doctor Strange and parts of Spider-Man, and
Well,
because
I hope it doesn't affect it too much because that sounded really cool, like a really cool idea.
yeah.
So hopefully it
So
doesn't have too big of a drastic change on it. But
well, here in next weekend, we're getting the Falcon Winter Soldier show.
Awesome.
I think that's 2 weekends. I think it was 14 days between the two.
Okay, yeah. I know it's I was saying I don't remember what today is. I mean, I guess I could look down at the bottom of the screen.
7.
7. Yeah. I think it was like the 18th. It's like whatever weekend that, so like 2 weeks. So I guess when I said next weekend, I meant next weekend.
Next weekend. Okay.
Because that's one I'm probably going to watch on a weekly basis. Because that one I actually have some interest in. Where WandaVision, I was like, yeah, but Winter Soldier from the Falcon, that one I'm going to have some more interest in. So that one I'll watch on a weekly basis.
Do they say when it's supposed to be? Like what part of the timeline that's in?
After Infinity War.
Cool.
Yeah, because
Awesome.
Cap's gone.
Yeah, because it's going to be dealing with Falcon kind of taking the weight of, is he going to be Captain America or not?
Gotcha. Sweet. That sounds like it could be a really fun show.
So it looks like it's definitely going to be more action oriented than WandaVision was.
Cool.
So.
Well, I think they chose well. Those two have a really good chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we've been going for a little while now. So.
Yeah. My timer's telling me 1:38 already.
Ooh, hey.
Ooh.
All right. Well, maybe there's a little editing to do in there, but whatever.
Yeah.
Talk to the producer.
I think we might actually have knocked the rust completely off. I feel good about this one.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Oh,
I even have notes for next week now because we didn't have to even use them all.
All right.
nice.
Well, I
Nice.
burned all mine, but I'll come up with some more.
Mine are all still sitting there. Here's see, a whole lot of nothing.
It's beautiful.
Okay. All right. Well, remember, America, stupid never walks alone.
Oh yeah.